Hello, hello, my dear audience. Christina here, your host today. And like as always, it's a new episode of KSM Podcast, Going Business Online with Christina. And today, I'm super excited. I have my very special guest speaker lady, Melisa Grey, far away from Jamaica. And Melissa, welcome to the show today.
Hi, Christina. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. And I'm excited about our conversation today. What are we going to talk about?
Yeah, I'm so excited. And to be honest, I really have for the first time in terms of my career as a host, as a creator of KSM Podcast, Doing Business Online with Christina, you are the first guest from Jamaica. So I welcome you. I'm much more happy today because I have such amazing person as
Yes.
you are. And tell us a little bit about you. Just introduce yourself for our audience who don't know you.
Absolutely. So in Jamaica, we will say wagwan. Hope your audience catch that. And it's what's going on, right? So I'm Melissa. I am the founder of Pressure Proof Leadership. I am also a leadership coach, and I am based in the beautiful island of Jamaica, which is in the Caribbean island. I I am a leadership coach by heart. However, I started out like anyone, started out on the ground, started out at an entry level position, been at different levels. I am now a director in the company, the organization that I'm in. I have climbed multiple ladders in corporate, and I'm not at the top yet, right? I'm also a wife, and I'm a mother and a grandmother. But what I realize is, for me, it's always about how is it that I can help others, and that is how Pressure Proof Leadership was born. So that's just a little bit about me. I am not somebody anymore that wants to live in survival mode. I've been there. I now feel as though that leadership should feel like you're growing and not just as though you're surviving or trying to survive. But that's just a little bit about me right there.
Oh, thank you so very much, and you're welcome you again. And
Yeah.
I think that we're going to have such amazing conversation interview today, a special when as you are a leadership coach. And to be honest, when we are kids, like when we were kids, we always have
Yes.
something like when we played it, we have some in our inside of us as leaders, just to be like a team member or just to lead some like a kind of brother, sister, younger to show them. But this is a way that you can just not do that's to be a leader is such amazing thing, and I think that we have something within us. What do you think?
That's interesting because a lot of persons would believe, and online there is this divide as to whether leadership is born or whether you can be built as a leader. And I believe that leadership can be developed. While it is that there are sometimes there are traits in you, there are other persons just based on getting a mentor. If you have a coach, you can develop, or you can also find different leadership skills that you may have and you may own that you didn't know that you had as a child. Like for me, I help mid-level managers and supervisors. I help those persons, right? And not all of them came with knowing that they had leadership skills. So it was going through that process and helping them develop. So I believe that even as children we would have some leadership skills. But as you grow, sometimes you're not in an environment to help develop those skills and to nurture them. So you don't even use them, they're just dormant. And then you need somebody who can come alongside you and help you to develop and nurture those skills and bring them out of you. So I would say, I believe that it's yes, it is, you can be born as a leader, but I also believe that leadership can be developed.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. I just said that we can have a part but when we are kids but we need to develop it and to nurture,
Yes,
but we
yes,
every single person has something within just to lead just.
yes.
And what do you think in terms of leader? I think that is a way when you inspire someone, not just to manage it like a team leader. It's different that you lead a team or in terms of leadership to inspire other people. I mean that it's about inspiring. This is how I see leadership. And when you mentioned that you help mid mm, mid managers, how did you
Mid-level
say
managers,
mid-level
right? The
managers, thank you
supervisor.
for, yeah. What
Yes.
is the part, what do you help? Can you tell us what are those things which you help those people, those mid-level managers in your work?
So right now, when you'll see it all over, you see it online. You If you are a leader, you'll be able to identify a lot of times persons are promoted into positions because they were good. They were really good at being an individual contributor. You're good at the job you're doing now. And then somebody says, since you're that good, let me promote you to now go and lead people. And then you're now in a new role and nobody prepared you for that. So there is, and it doesn't matter the organization, it doesn't matter the industry, there that comes with a level of pressure. It comes with a level of identity crucifixion, I would say. It comes with, a torture, because now your team starts failing. You start feeling as though, why did I even take this promotion, right? So one of the things that I do, I help those managers who were promoted with no support. You were just thrown into this role. You were thrown into the role, and now you're feeling not just burnout, but you're feeling as though you can't handle the pressure. You feel as though you are not worthy. The level of confidence that you had when it is that you were an individual contributor, you no longer have it. You struggle with having difficult conversations. Why? Because nobody prepared you for what you were going to face as a mid-level manager, and or as a leader, now that you have moved. And what I've observed over the years is that it's not because you're incompetent. It's not because you lack the skill set. It's just that you lack development. And that's where I come in to help those persons. And that's why I said earlier that I believe that leadership skills can be developed, because a lot of times as leaders, you're now managing a team, you were good at your job, but you are not able to lead that team through success while you are also trying to lead yourself, while you're trying to figure it out. Should I go to HR with this situation? Should I go to my boss? Should I just, pull my direct report into a one-on-one conversation? Like, what should I do so that I don't look incompetent, or I don't feel incompetent as a leader? And I believe a lot of times as middle managers, like, we don't raise our hands to say, oh yes, I need help, because you don't want anyone to think that you got promoted and you can't do the job.
And when you mention that they are going to be promoted online, for example, do you think that those mid-level managers have a fear about uh, appearing online or something like that, that you help them to move forward? Depends what the situation in terms to
So
promote
it's
themselves.
it's not just even online, Christina, to be honest.
No,
It's
no, no. That's one
anywhere.
part.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
gonna be in person, in offline. I mean, not just in online.
Yeah. Okay. So you're asking if it is that those mid-level managers also struggle coming online?
Yes, because you mentioned at the beginning of our episode today, in terms of online, and then that this is why I asked you about it, like in online and also offline. to share with our audience?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They struggle with showing up, whether it's online or offline. They struggle with coming on camera. They struggle with being the face of anything. They struggle, and as I said, they struggle with raising their hand. They struggle with showing up as their authentic self because sometimes they don't even know who they are. Why? Because burnout and trauma and pressure and stress and the lack of confidence has ripped apart some of their identity, and they only see themselves as how their team sees them. They see themselves as how their team performs. So they wouldn't even think about coming online because if their team is not performing, then they don't believe that anything else is going well.
And tell me, do you work also with solopreneur, and that we are talking about corporate sector, big corporation or middle corporation, but also do you work with leaders who run their own business journey, and as entrepreneur, as a small business owner or companies or however?
Excellent question. Right now I don't. I I serve not industry specific, but I only serve managers who are managing people. So if it is that you manage people, whether it's two, three, four, five, eight, 20 people, those are the person that I am focused on serving at this time. So if it is that you're a solo entrepreneur, then no, those are not the persons that I support right now. But if it is that you are leading a team, no, if you're online, and I know a lot of business owners, you own a business online, but you have a team of persons that supports you. Yes, I support those persons. But if it is that it's just you and you want to learn about leadership, those are not the persons I support. But if you're online and you have a team, once you have a team, you are going to experience pressure. Once you have a team, you are going to experience burnout. You are going to experience what it is to lead and feel as though you are the problem.
Yeah, so in terms when you either that you're a small business owner and have your company with 3 to 5, let's say, what is the
Yes.
minimum team when who you serve? For example, that business owner who have 3 employees or 4 or 5. What is the minimum when you served when someone has employees as a business owner, as a leader?
So the minimum right now is three, and the maximum is 25. Because as a leader, I have served in different categories, in different roles coming up. And I have observed when it is, if you have one person on your team, the pressure is not as intense. It's not as challenging. If you have two, you may have some challenge, but when you have three and there's a diversity when it comes to personality and how it is that you have to manage them and make different decisions, then you can understand that that can also come with pressure and also based on the environment and what is required. No, I have led teams that has over 300 people, right? So I know what it is like to manage large teams. For me in my business, I really focus on that leader that is in the middle that manages up to 25 people with a minimum of just 3 persons on your team, just based on how diverse it is, based on just the level of weight that comes with leading a team.
And yeah, you're so experienced. And Melissa, before we get go deep dive in this show today and with many questions and also, but I want to ask you about your background because you know the guest and podcast business owner Kristina helps business owners, managers, leaders to move forward on international market and help them to get more visibility and become more visible and structured about it. So for and audience just wanted always to hear about my guest speakers, what was their background and how did they started and how they come to be who they are now, like you. How
Ah,
because you mentioned that you were working in such a big operation. I mean, like, but what was your background before you start your own business journey as a leadership coach?
okay. So let me start here. For
Okay, here you
years,
go.
oh, you didn't say, for years, I realized that I was responsible. So as I mentioned earlier, that I've led teams of over 300. But I realized that I was responsible for a lot of things. I was responsible for most things. I was held accountable for a lot of things and most things, but I was not empowered. And that's what it looks like as a mid-level manager. It it also allows you when you're in that role to be burnt out. It allows you to feel as though you're the problem. So as I mentioned earlier, I started out as an entry level employee in one organization. I was there for like 10 years and I rose to one of the highest positions in that organization. And after being there and being so burnt out, I left. I resigned that organization after 10 years and moved to another organization. And I started that organization at the lowest mid-level manager position that they had. So I was coming from the highest position in one organization and moved to a new one and started at the ground when it comes to leadership. And I realized that nobody was talking about, the level of challenges that mid-level managers have when you're leading people. I realized that even though you have a title, that doesn't mean that you can make decisions. I realized that I was going through and navigating and doing some things, and those days you didn't have, or I didn't know about AI. We weren't on the internet. I was just trying to figure things out, and I made a lot of mistakes, Christina. I failed. No, they call it failing forward. I failed multiple times, and I remember one day sitting in my office and I was like, I was trying to do so much for my team. I was trying to support them, but I realized I had nobody really that was doing for me what I was doing for my team. And I wasn't getting it right all the time. There was just a lot of trial and errors. And did I have a boss? I did. I certainly had a boss that, they call it in Jamaica baptism by fire. And I was out there just trying and doing, and I realized that I needed a me. And that's what started my journey of moving into leadership coaching. And to tell you the truth, I didn't start with leadership coaching. I started with life coaching, getting myself certified, going through the process. And then I realized that I was doing so much. I was going through, and I realized that no, I'm not just in my organization, but outside of my organization. I remember having a client once, and they were all the way from Jordan, and I was like, this is the first time. And when I heard the stories that she told, I'm like, this is familiar. These are some of the things that I've gone through with my team. So I understood that leadership and mid-level manager and the pressure and the lack of confidence and the burnout, it was not industry specific. So I decided that I knew I needed a me, and I know there are a lot of persons outside of the industry, a lot of persons online that needed that level of support so that they're able to to lead, without feeling that pressure. One of the taglines, or my main tagline for my pressure proof brand that I developed, was pressure is a part of the job, but suffering through it isn't. So while it is that I understood that, pressure is going to be there because you're in this field, and, pressure comes with the territory, it also means that you don't have to suffer. You don't have to try survive. And I've been through years of just trying to survive. And I broke at one point. I literally broke. So it's all of that that led me into where I am today, building this pressure proof brand, building leaders, letting them understand that you can lead in a pressuring environment without suffering. You can lead pressure proof in a pressuring environment.
That's amazing, because as I said, you mentioned, yeah, leaders, mid-level managers, they're in a fear, they're in stuck, they don't want it to pop up in front of camera or just to appear. And to be honest, I also was maybe a few years ago, I was also shy in front of camera. But to be honest, I have never thinking about that I'm going to run my podcast today because I've done challenge, and for me it was challenging. I was in the background and in back end, to be honest. And my mentor, she always asked me, Kristina, why don't you pop up in front of camera? Why don't you pop up in front of camera? And I said, yeah, and I have done that challenge 21 day, and it was amazing. So I know how from my experience, I know how I was in stuck in terms to be in front of camera. And now here I am. I run that
In front
podcast,
of the
which is,
camera.
yes, it's top 20 best to which 4 years, 2023, 2024, 2025, and now 2026 in category of online business. And just imagine by Fitspot, there are 2 million of podcasts. So that's always in terms. So I'm super happy. I have never thinking about it. So that's something when you do breakthrough, and that's something when I know how I've done that breakthrough to move forward and to be in front of camera.
No, it's funny that you mentioned that, Christina, because as you spoke, I was thinking that's why I do what I do, because you get to see the results of persons who, one, didn't like going in front of the camera, or couldn't have a difficult conversation, or didn't have the resources, or felt so pressured and burnt out, didn't have strategies, and you are able to help them and coach them through that process so that they can remain in their company if they choose to, but they can function at a different level. They can function pressure proof. They can function outside of just surviving. So
Yeah,
I
and I
love that.
think that we need to move forward from surviving mode to successful mode,
Yes,
and I think that we, as a business owner, as entrepreneurs, as a solopreneur, leaders, however, of our teams and our business, and that we also have some experience, and what we experienced we can coach and teach other people, other entrepreneurs. Do you agree with
I
that? As
agree.
I mentioned about the podcast, as I said, I have never thinking about that KSM podcast doing business online with Kristina will be global, and having you today, like that's pretty amazing.
I absolutely agree. I think it's also for me, you know, my clients, as I mentioned, I had a client from Jordan that's way outside of Jamaica. So if it is that, even now, like I work with clients because my sessions are online, they're not face-to-face sessions, they're always online. So my audience, my clients, they are clients that are global, right? And I understand what it is like to need help and sometimes be afraid to ask for it. But the results normally speak for themselves. So I agree.
So, and my job as a digital marketing coach and consultant, And I'm also speaker, maybe I mentioned before, but and I'm here just to help them, to help people, to encourage them to get more
Mhm.
visibility, to become more visible, and to create strategy for them. Also, as you do, like as a leader, go as a leader. You mentioned I started with life coaching, and and finally I see myself in leadership coaching.
Leadership
So
coaching.
that's your
Absolutely.
experience and
Yes.
challenges. Yeah, I see how it looks. Yeah. And to be honest, we were also, and many of us were burnout in some way.
Yes. And that's one of the things why I'm not focused on just an industry, because I'll tell you, when I just started, launching out on YouTube, because most of my content is on YouTube, my brand is Pressure Proof Leadership. Under that brand, I say Pressure Proof Leadership as a brand, and Lead with Melisa is where the work starts. So my website is www.leadwithmelissa.com. And on that website, I have, like my coaching program. I also have my ebooks, my free guide. I do have a free guide as well. But when it comes to pressure proof leadership and how I started out, it wasn't easy. It's not something that just started out of a whim. It is something, when I look at it, as I mentioned, was feeling the pressure. So I could not focus on just one industry. When I started, I mentioned, I started out on YouTube, and a lot of persons were saying, Melissa, I recognize that in my industry, that's how I was feeling, because I started out focusing on one industry, and I had to just um, rebrand and do it globally. So pressure is definitely everywhere. Pressure is online. When you think about mid-level managers, they don't only feel pressure from below, but they feel pressure from above. They feel pressure from the middle. They feel pressure from below. So it's a full picture for them, and that's why I believe that it's so important. On my website, when persons go there, and your audience can go to my website. It's www.leadwithmelissa. I try to share, just some of the things that I've been through, so that it can resonate with persons, to let you know that I've been there. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. I understand what it is to lead feeling pressured. And you don't have to feel that pressure. You don't have to, go home and sit in your car and take 10-15 minutes, because you can't, no, you can't picture somebody else asking you for something. You can't, absorb anything else. You need some time. And those are things that happened to me. So I fully agree. Pressure is not just, a one industry thing. Pressure is not just offline, it's also online. And for those business owners that are leading teams, you also need a level of support that, you may not be able to find in yourself. And I know that we have, you know AI that a lot of persons use in their business, but there are times that you need somebody to give you, as you mentioned, to give you that strategy and help you map out what it is that you're going to do next, like real life situations that you are able to support them through and see those results. Because middle managers carry a lot. They a lot of weight. It is a lot, I should say.
And when you mention AI, we can do it like generic, but you need to hear that persona, that client, that leads, to hear the voice, to talk about pain points. And as I said, as a digital marketing coach, I help business owner to become more visible using variety and creating different strategies, like the digital marketing strategies for them. And every single person is different, so I'm so customizable in that way. But when you mention pressure, I wanted to share it also in that way. I was working in such a big corporation. It was like a newspaper company. In that time was in TV and was a newspaper company is very old, 100 year, like here in Western Balkan. But working for that company, I was working under the pressure, and I was in marketing area. We've done like a publishing books and etc., and do marketing. But one day I went to the hospital. Why? Because I had like such a problem with my headache. I have such unbelievable headache, and it was like something which was for me. So after that, I decided to start my own business journey, and it was 2010. I
Mm.
realized if nothing for me, always I was burnout. I was and my health was so shocked. Like I didn't recognize myself. And I said, why? All day, something like managers, they argue or something, it was something which is in connection with me, but I was so responsible. Sometimes which I didn't, I wasn't able to, that I'm part of it, but they called me, it was like a situation which I cannot, I, I didn't can take take with that, and I didn't. So I saw that my health was so in hard, and very no. I was in such a big stress and everything, and I realized, okay, Kristina, you're going to be your own boss, and this is how I started. So that's what I understood, and as I said before, people and entrepreneurs who were in such a big corporation, this is my experience. But now I'm super happy. I can work who I wanted to work. I can go global. As I mentioned about the podcast, I didn't know that I'm going to be such a in that global way. And
Mm.
I live my life. I live my dreams, and either that English is my second language. So that's pretty cool, and I have much more energy. I can, and today I'm here with you. So we met online, and you can see the beauty of technology.
I agree. You mentioned something just now that resonated with me. Burnout, put you in the hospital, and I can resonate with that. I can relate to that as well, because similar thing happened to me. And one of the things that I've observed a lot of times, some leaders who are burnt out, they may not end up in the hospital. They may not, their leadership may not collapse. But sometimes burnout can look like just running on, on extra adrenaline, doing way more, feeling as though you are the only one that can do it. It can mean also that you're showing up and like the care is not there. It can also mean that you start recognizing yourself less. So a lot of persons, may not, go to the hospital like you or I, and they may think that they're not burnt out. But if they check that, okay, I don't recognize who I am anymore. I don't think I really care about a lot of things anymore. Or they may feel as though I'm doing so much. I'm so energized. I'm energized to do all of these things. And it may be that, burnout is the reason, burnout is causing it. And you don't even realize. I remember having a client that came to me. And when they came to me, Kristina, and, we went through the coaching and everything, it was when, through discovery, they found out that they were burnt out. They didn't realize. And let me tell you what happened. It's a similar story to yours, because after, going through our coaching, she left that job and started her own coaching practice, because she realized that she was burnt out. She just couldn't do it. And she started the process of exiting and going into her own practice. And today she is a life coach. So, you know, we want to understand that we don't need to continuously manage pressure. We can understand what pressure looks like, and we can lead through it and don't just have to survive through it.
Yeah, but we have to think about our health, because if we're not
Absolutely.
healthy, we're not good for us, for ourselves. Who cares about?
Absolutely. I agree.
And this is like as I said, when you're charging mobile phone, when your battery is totally empty, that's with our energy, that you can. And many of my guest speakers, they told that they were working in that corporate sector, they were under the pressure, they were burnout, and finally they realized, either some of them are in retirement mode, but also they're much more younger, that they realize that they can start their own business journey, because it's not easy, and people can also be in burnout mode if they work alone, or you also have to delegate someone to work with you, but you need also to choose your contributors and partners and employees who will be so um, honest to you, close to you, to believe them. Just sometimes it's very, very important who do you work with also in your team. That
Absolutely.
also.
Yes.
And then finally, I wanted to talk about your pressure-proof leadership, because we
Uh,
mentioned that we spoke about our experiences. We have similar experience, but challenges are challenges, and we can grow through that. Those challenges, but dear audience, just think about your health. Don't be under the pressure. Just think about health. We have only one life, so we need to to live longer as much as we can, and that we can achieve that, we need to be healthy. What is a pressure-proof leadership?
all right. So when I think about, you have a watch, right? You have water resistant watches and you have waterproof watches. Waterproof watches are watches that you can wear in water, right? And when you come out of it, the watch still works. When you think about pressure proof leadership, you can think about pressure being that water and being waterproof. It is that you are able to survive in the pressure and you can come out as a strong leader. Pressure proof leadership is a brand where the the tagline is pressure is a part of the job. The water is going to be there, but suffering through it isn't. You don't have to drown. You don't have to be you don't have to be someone that loses their identity because of the pressure. You are able to lead pressure proof. You're able to go into that water, you're able to go into that fire, and you don't have to do it in survival mode. You're just comfortable because if you have a waterproof watch, you're going to go into the water, you're going to go swimming, and you're not going to worry about it. And that's what pressure proof is. It is a level of confidence that you get when it is that you go through coaching with me, that you're able to go back to your organization, you're able to go back to your company, you're able to go back to your business, and you're able to lead with a certain level of confidence that you're not worried, you're not struggling, you're not trying to survive. You are doing it just as normal. It becomes leading, becomes natural, and it becomes comfortable for you, just as diving into the water with a waterproof watch. And that's what pressure proof
Thank
is.
you for sharing that, and it's such a good comparison, like a pressure, like a waterproof watch, and
Waterproof watch. Yeah.
the other one is watch, like
Water resistant,
water
right?
resistant. Yeah, thank you,
Right. So
thank you.
some leaders know are being water resistant because they are burnt out and stressed and they are going in the water. You're in the job and
So this is a
you're
part of
resisting.
that pressure. Pressure is a
Yeah.
part in burnout, is so that you can overcome it. That's to
Yes,
put in a normal
absolutely.
mode.
Yes. So you're able to overcome it. You're able to work through it. You don't have to live in survival mode while you're there. You just lead at your
So, dear audience,
optimal
Melissa is here to help you and to show you how to
home,
lead with pressure
pressure proof.
proof mode
Absolutely.
in
Yes.
leadership. That's amazing, Very, very interesting. Melissa, I'm super happy with that you just find formula how to resolve it and how people,
Yes.
entrepreneurs can live with that and work with that. So I have a few questions also. Why do leaders burn out? What do you think?
Oh,
Why do leaders burn out?
for different reasons. The reasons vary. And I'll share one. I was burnt out because I was trying to do it all on my own. I was burnt out because I didn't have help. I didn't have the support that I needed, and I was just doing it on a whim. You have some leaders that burn out because there are some organizations that you're doing the job of two persons. You may be burnt out because there's no support at home. Leaders burn out for various reasons. It just may be a part of the job. And that's why I said pressure is a part of the job, but suffering through it isn't. It's burnout is it shouldn't be happening, but for various reasons it happens.
Yeah, I can just compare with that when someone fell in love. So it's like a burnout love,
Mhm.
it's adrenaline
Yeah.
just is very, very high. So how can leaders handle pressure better? How can leader uh, handle that pressure?
First, you want to identify what's driving the pressure. A lot of times, as leaders, it's not just about handling it better, but it's also the awareness of where is it coming from and why. And that's one of the things that I do with my clients. I try to identify, like, where is the pressure coming from? Are you contributing to that pressure? Is there something else that needs to happen? And I believe leading better through it is understanding where it's coming from. And I know, a lot of persons would say it's a job. The job is why I am burnt out. But then you want to get deeper into what are some of the specifics, Kristina, that's driving that pressure.
Mm. And tell me, when you mention when you work with your clients, also you work. I have also other questions, but by the way, to ask you, how do when you work with your clients, do you do like a one-to-one and once per week, or how do you when you mentioned that you work only online?
Okay. So my coaching program is 12 weeks. It includes one-on-one. So we have one session each week. And those sessions, it comes with activities. I may reach out to my clients each week because I don't want to add to the pressure, but I want you to know that I'm here for support. If it is that you need it, if you need to run something by me, something is happening and you want to get, and it's outside of that, weekly one-on-one that we have, there are different approaches for different clients. One thing I don't do is use a blanket approach for each client. It's specific. Whatever strategy that we develop, it's specific to that client.
And how your clients come to you? How they connect with you, to the referral marketing or word of mouth, or they come to your website, or they listen your um, YouTube channel, or how I mean when they come to you, what they mostly say, what are their pain points at the beginning, before they start code working with you, like before you start working with that. Maybe
The
I want
first
for
thing,
your audience just to hear that, because
yeah,
that's
no problem. The first thing my client said, Melissa, I am overwhelmed. Or they'll say, Melissa, I am burnt out.
Melissa,
Melissa,
please help.
Help me, right? You know, I've never had a client that used those words. Help me. Yeah, it is when, as we go through, they say,
I
Melissa,
just
I didn't
added,
know
by
this.
the way, no worries about it. To be funny
They'll say,
stuff.
you'll have clients that say, Melissa, I didn't know that this is the help I needed. But my clients find me through my free guide. That's where most of my clients find me. On my website, I have a
And
free
this is your
guide.
free resources, like
My free resource, yes, it's
for
called
our
Five.
listeners, they could come to your website and download it.
Correct. And it's free. It's called Five Signs That Leadership Pressure Has Become Personal. And that's one of the reasons. So when I talk to my clients about the root of the pressure that they're feeling, at times the pressure attacks their identity. And you have some leaders that would say, Melissa, I no longer like my team. And that's one of the signs in my book that, the team that you used to love, you no longer love them. You work with them, you like them, you tolerate them, but you no longer love them. And that's one of the signs that leadership pressure is now becoming personal for you. So it's through my free guide that my clients would come to me. That's where most of my clients come from that I work with. They also find me on YouTube. So those are the two main places. If you go to YouTube, type pressure proof leadership, or you type lead with Melissa, you will find me.
And tell me, what is the name of your book? Just repeat for your audience.
It's called Five Signs That Leadership Pressure Has Become Personal.
Yeah, this is your free guide, you know.
That's my free guide.
But
Yes.
you mentioned, yeah, and okay, thank you. But I will put all information, I will put all links below this episode so that I will put all links, your website and everything in the content description when I deliver, when that listeners can connect with you also. So I will put all
Absolutely.
information. But you mentioned that sometimes there are people who, for them, it's easier to listen than to read. So that's you mentioned in your website and everything. So that's very interesting, and this is how. And I always ask my guest speakers just to share their experience, how they come to client, how leads and prospects come to them, and how they get just convert them those leads into uh, paid clients. I mean,
Yeah, I think for me, and I understand my niche because I've been there. I tell you, you're not going to be the first one. So, you know, after you, after my clients download the ebook, then it really takes them a time. So I also have my email list that I nurture them through and add value. I call it, coaching in an email, right? So you can get some value. It's not just downloading a guide, because a lot of times you download guides and you don't read it after. So I provide, that natural coaching, that support via email, and I try to give as much value so that it can resonate with that target audience, provide some structure and support. And then they have an opportunity to book a free call with me. It's 30 minutes, and we get to discover, we get to talk. Am I the right person? And truth be told, I may not be the right person for you. I don't serve everybody. I am not the coach. Even though I'm a leadership coach from mid-level manager, you may be a mid-level manager, and through our one-on-one, through our discovery call, we identify that I am not the right coach for you. I may not be able to help you. You may need another type of coach, because I'm not a career coach. I don't do resumes. I am not going to fix your resume for you. That's not what I do. I'm not a coach for executives and C levels. I am for those persons that are smack in the middle, that are squeezed in and need that level of support, that need structure and strategy that was promoted without that level of leadership guidance, and there's that identity challenge that they have. So after it is that you download my free guide, you go through, you're going to be getting some emails from me. If it is that no, you're ready to have that one-on-one call, we can. But I want to share as well, Kristina, there are some persons that may not be ready. you may not think that you're ready for a one-on-one. You may think that you're not ready for coaching. I also have a it's a paid digital resource, and it's an ebook, it's a digital guide, and it's called the Pressure Proof Managers Toolkit. And when I say it's a toolkit, it's comprehensive. It has tools how to have difficult conversations, it has scripts, it resonates and supports the mid-level managers, and that's also on my website. So there are different ways that my clients connect with me. So you may not be a paid client, but you may pay for the resource and still get the support from me.
Yeah, that's really amazing, So for you who wanted to get to know more, if you're a middle manager,
Yes.
as I said, so please connect with Melisa. You can go to the leadwithmelisa.com. Is that correct? So
Yes.
go to
Leadwithmelissa.com.
.com and you can go to the Melissa's website and you can go to her free resources, you can go to the coaching program, you can read about her guide as a free resource, and also to go to her YouTube channel. So there are many ways to connect with Melissa. And also, Melissa, you are also present on which of those social media? Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X.
I am on Instagram, Lead with Melissa. I am on YouTube, Lead with Melissa, or Pressure Proof Leadership. Either one works. I am on TikTok, Lead with Melissa. I am on Facebook. I've had Facebook for years, and Facebook is just Melisa Grey. That's where I'm at.
Oh, so Melissa is online, so global leadership coach. So you will find Melissa everywhere. Don't forget it to connect with Melissa. Melissa, I have also a few before I have also a question for you. Um, can uh, can pressure ever be a good thing? Thing.
I would say pressure can be a good thing. And let me say this. And that's why I said pressure is a part of the job. That is it. But suffering through it isn't.
I think
So
that this question is so good for you.
yes, so
Share with
that is it.
us.
Pressure is a part of the job. It is there. It can be a good thing if you understand and if you learn how to navigate that pressure so that it does not strip your identity, so that it doesn't claim who you are as a leader. But if the pressure is there and you understand how to use that pressure to cause it to maybe read more books, to cause you to invest in getting a coach, to cause you to get a mentor, maybe within your organization, and so that you don't have to succumb to that pressure. So I believe pressure can be a good thing, but a lot of times we don't have the tools and the resources to help us navigate that pressure so that it does not become a good thing. It's just pressure does normally seem as a bad thing. But as I said, we have that waterproof watch, and that's why pressure proof is here.
Oh, that's great. I really appreciate it. And I really love that how you share with what you share with us. So how do you prevent burnout?
I don't think you can prevent burnout. And I may be wrong. I stand corrected when I say you can't prevent
Yeah, I
burnout,
agree.
but
But
you can be aware. You need to be aware that burnout is possible. And I shared earlier that for some persons, they're burnt out, but they're running on adrenaline. And they may not see that they're burnt out because burnout can creep in, Kristina, on you. You may be doing three, four things because you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a leader, and so many things can cause you to be burnout. So I wouldn't take the approach of preventing burnout, because even trying to prevent it can cause you to be burnt out. But being aware, being self-aware that burnt out is possible and it is a part of what's happening today. And if you're self-aware, then what you can do is put measures in place to manage it. You can put measures in place to not only lead online or lead in the corporate world, but also in your home. Because the burnout in your home, Kristina, can also translate on the job. It can also translate online. It translates in your personal life and your professional life. But if you're aware that burnout is possible, then you're now going to be so aware that, oh, I need to put measures in place. Oh, I need to be aware of this. Oh, I need to reset. Oh, I need to take today off. Oh, I need to just close my laptop and I'm not going to be staying up at night checking emails. Oh, I'm not going to be scrolling social media at night because I can't sleep. You're going to be so aware that this is happening that you put measures in place. I must get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And you are putting steps in place to ensure that happens to reduce the burnout.
Yeah, and this is a way how burnout can causes our health issue and problems. What we mentioned before, like
Absolutely.
so we can. That's great that we just really can have aware that we are going to be aware of our burnout and how to fix that. Like that we
Yes, and
can
how to
leave. At the end of the
navigate
day,
it.
we're only human.
Yes, and a lot is happening, whether it's online or offline, a lot is happening.
Yes, of
Even
course.
the
So.
economy can cause you to burn out.
Yes.
You can't do anything
Even
about
if
it,
that I can fly to Jamaica now and to come to you and host you in person, that will be
right?
also burnout. Who knows? Maybe one day we can do some podcast on the beach.
Oh Lord,
Somewhere.
that would be fun.
That would be fun. Yeah, I love that. Who knows? We will be see. Maybe it's gonna be some aha momentum, and maybe I will have chance to be in a way to travel and to come so far away destination globally to host my amazing guest speakers in person. Universe will hear me. I don't know how it's going, but
Yes,
everything is
we're speaking
possible.
it into being.
Yeah. So, what is the biggest leadership mistake?
Whew, would I say what's the biggest? I can say one off. One of the biggest mistakes I would say is thinking that you can do it all alone or thinking you can do it by yourself. You can't. You cannot do it. No man is an island and no man stands alone. If you try to do leadership alone, you are going to fail worse than if you had some help. You can't do leadership alone. You need help. You need support. You need persons who have walked the path before you to give you guidance.
And do you think when you mentioned that you cannot do a leadership alone, do you think on people who are employees in corporation and that, or you think about coach to help that
Oh,
leader?
everyone. It doesn't matter who. Once you're a leader, Kristina, you want to think holistically. You want to think that I am here to lead somebody, and if you are offering help to somebody, I'm telling you that you are going to need help yourself. Whether it is that you're in a corporation, whether it is that you're online, whether you are global, you are going to need that help.
Yeah, you cannot you couldn't do it alone. So
No.
that's pretty true. I mean, yeah. How can managers build resilience?
I think it goes back to I think a response I gave earlier. It's understanding that being resilient doesn't mean that you are strong in and of yourself, Kristina. And again, that you are strong alone, but it is that you have developed certain skill sets, you have developed certain fortitudes, you have developed a certain awareness to let you know that there are situations that's going to come, and this is how I need to manage those situations. So when it comes to being, a resilient leader, somebody that bounces back real quickly, it is just understanding what you're up against. You must understand to really, how do I say this? To really be a resilient leader, you must understand what you're up against. You must be aware of what you're up against, and you must also know that you cannot do it by yourself. When to bounce back and to bounce back, that winning bounce back that you want as a leader, you must be you must have developed, certain leadership traits and characteristics over the years.
Thank you for sharing. And I think that this show today, this interview will be so useful and very beneficial for our listeners. And I also wanted to put a call to action. Just please put a comment below this episode, and do you have about the leadership, or if you wanted to start your own podcast or whatever you want. Just this is call to action just for you. If you have any question about pressure proof leadership or whatever, you can also go to Melisa's Melisa or leadwithmelisa.com, and you can go there and also can schedule a call, discover a session call with Melisa. And also you can go also on my kristinasn.com, so you can connect with me, and also you can schedule a call just to, if you wanted to go how to be more visible and how to build your online presence. This is going to be call to action for you. Just or put any comment, any question, and we will get back to you and also answer on your question. What advice do you have for new leaders, Melisa? What
If I should
advice?
give, if I should give any advice to a leader, it will say to them that you are enough. I know we hear that all the time. You are competent, and I want you to know that. And outside of that little motivation there, the key is you can't do it alone. A lot of times, and we spoke about resilience just now, a lot of times leaders think that, being resilient is just being, squared shoulder and being tough, but it's not. It's really about self-awareness, knowing where you are, knowing what your strengths are as a leader. And I would encourage leaders, I would encourage mid-level managers to really focus on your strength, because that is where your true identity lies. It's not in the poor performance of your team. It's not that you were promoted and not, getting that support, but you have some skills and qualities and competencies and characteristics that you can lean into. And I would encourage leaders to lean in to those strong qualities that you have that can make you a pressure proof leader.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And what's one leadership everyone should know? What 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 everyone should know? Like only one that leadership should know. Like what you will you mentioned advices. What do you wanted to suggest that uh, leaders should know about? Like only one suggestion or whatever they need to know as leaders.
I would say show up consistently, not just for your team, not just for people around you, but show up for yourself. You can lead better when it is that you're managing your pressure. You can lead better when it is that you're managing the burnout. But show up so that you don't have to, put your identity at risk. So
And when you
that's one thing.
mention show up, what do you mean by that? When you mention show up?
When I say show up, I mean those leadership skills and qualities that I mentioned that you have, seek them out, find them, and live in them. If it is that you're a leader that's great at communication, don't close your mouth in meetings. If you have a suggestion, a recommendation, say to somebody, give it to somebody, give it, write it, document it so that, we know that it is yours. If you're a leader that is good at having difficult conversations, help somebody. Don't just leave it out there and say that, oh, you can't, or the level of confidence that you need. If you know that you have certain competencies, Kristina, I would say to a leader, those are what you need to lean into. And when I say show up, I mean you are going to own those qualities that you have. Own them 100%.
Yeah, so that means that you need to put them into action.
Yes.
If you want to communicate, so thank you for sharing. We for audience just to understand what you mean by the show up, so you explain it, and thank you for that on that. So
Absolutely.
before we wrap up our show today, what will be advice for our listeners in terms if we talk about if they're leaders, and like a final message for our audience today?
What will be my final message? I think I've repeated so many things
Maybe
just
something
now.
which you didn't share. Maybe
Ooh,
there are people
um,
who wanted to for example, they're like they're in big corporation, maybe they wanted to start their own business journey with 2 or 3 employees. Maybe they will, just as you said, you work with only with leaders who has 3 minimum, 25 maximum. But for other people who are only one, like myself, in my case and growing business online brand, so that will not be like for myself to like to be such a in terms of leadership, but in terms for maybe who do you have in your mind, just to share some kind of message for our audience.
I think one of the things I would say is don't allow the job to break you. Don't sit in silence, broken. Um, get the help that you need. Whether it is that you have one person on your team, 2 person on the team, be so aware that you need help and get that help. Whether it is that it's going to be a free resource, whether it's going to be paid, whether it's going to be a mentor, whether you have one person on your team, 2 or 3. If you identify that you are burnt out and you are not leading pressure proof, then do not allow the job, do not allow the business to break you. Do not sit in silence and be broken.
Melissa, thank you so very much. It was such a pleasure to host you today. You share such amazing knowledge, experience, and I really wanted to say that I really learned from you today with all those questions and everything. So for all of you who wanted to don't forget to subscribe to follow the KSM Growing with Online with Kristina. All information you have on my YouTube channel and on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Also, don't forget to connect with Melissa. Go to the www.leadwithmelissa.com, and you will have all information there. And don't forget to connect with her on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and no, TikTok. Sorry. And just try to schedule a call with her. She will help you a lot. So, Melissa, thank you again. And I think that we will connect again in some of our new episodes this year or maybe next year. So, just for you, you know that I had a guest speakers 2 or 3 times. So sometimes we do series of different topics, but yeah, thanks again. And you can see what is beauty of digital world.
Absolutely. Kristina, I must say thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. Thank you for, having me speak to your audience that you have curated over the years. It's really a pleasure to be here. It's the conversation really caused me to learn things about myself as well, and to learn about you, and to resonate and also with what you do. So thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being here. I am also on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn as Melisa Grey, so you can also find me on LinkedIn as well. But thank you
Yeah,
again.
thank you, thank you. And I'm super happy, as I said at the beginning of this show today, you're such a first guest speaker from Jamaica. So that's a beauty that my guest and podcast Going Busy So Mine has guest speakers from all around the world. Thanks again. Be blessed and have a lovely day. And see you very soon in our new episode. And bye for now. Bye.
All right. Bye, Kristina.
Bye.